Welcome to the Frontline Herbalism podcast with your host Nicole Rose from the Solidarity Apothecary. This is your place for all things plants and liberation. Let's get started. Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you've had a chance to listen to the other episode I released today, which is about, it's like an interview with a podcast called Herbal, all about the prisoners' herbal and my experiences inside and plant medicines and their role in kind of abolition and stuff. So yeah, check that out. This episode today is kind of the next part of the prisoners' herbal book, which is all looking at how prisoners can use like kind of remedies they can find on the Canteen. So in England, the Canteen is like basically like the prison shop. Like you get a slip of paper under your door and you can like tick the boxes of what you want and that will come out of your like prison account. But obviously like most people in prison like don't receive any financial support, so they've literally got like £7 or something of prison wages to buy like extra things they need, like phone credit or snacks. So yeah, it is very difficult for prisoners to access the things that I'm talking about. However, like some people in prison do work in prison kitchens where they're able to kind of like pinch stuff or, you know, use things to make tea. People with more resources will often share with other people. So a friend of mine who was inside, actually during the pandemic, like he said that a bunch of people like had COVID and they all like, they read the book and they just like all kind of combined the different spices they had and made like kind of like turmeric kind of lattes, you know, like they mixed all these spices with milk and then they warmed it up in their kettles and they gave it out to people who were sick. And like, yeah, hearing stories like that just totally melt my heart, you know. It's like 100% why I wrote the book. So yeah, but for people who aren't in prison, which is going to be people listening to this because most prisoners can't hear podcasts, sadly, you know, like this stuff is like stuff you can find around the house, you know, like things that different people will have, like different veg, like onions, like, do you know what I mean? Like there's all sorts of creative ways that we can take care of ourselves and each other. And yeah, they don't have to be like fancy or expensive or something you buy from a Whole Foods store. They can be things that are growing around you, that you can find like anywhere really. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And just a couple of solidarity shout outs. So there's been a few people sent to prison this week from Bristol, and one of them, Danny, would really like to receive post. So he was sentenced to 4.5 years, which is like a pretty hefty sentence to be honest, for fighting back against police attacks on the Kill the Bill demo in Bristol, which was in March 2021. You know, like he's been punished for daring to defend himself and others. And yeah, we just want to emphasize that like letters are a huge lifeline. Like I talk about this a lot, but if you can please write him a letter, that would be amazing. I'll put a link to his prison number and address in the show notes. And also that, yeah, we're supporting huge amounts of people in prison every month, like financially, emotionally, practically. So yeah, if you can drop us any money, that is really appreciated. And then the other solidarity call out I wanted to share is an international action alert, which has really been pitched for today. So I talked about Jorge on a previous episode, read like kind of a longer text about his case and shared his crowdfunder, but there's like a kind of day of action today. Okay, so what's happening? So Jorge's a Mexican political prisoner. And yeah, what's happening? Jorge, I'm just reading out a text now. Jorge is being criminalized as part of an ongoing attack against the Ocupache squat in Mexico City. Despite the overwhelming evidence that proves his innocence, the arbitrary arrests and police brutality he has been subjected to, and a legal case that have been plagued with irregularities since day one of this setup, Jorge remains unjustly locked up in the Reclusorio Oriente prison. His hearings have been constantly postponed, which is a common practice with political prisoners in Mexico, since it allows the state to draw out the legal process so as to keep them in prison as long as possible. Jorge's next hearing is this Friday, May 19th, and we need your support to demand justice for our compañero. So there's requests for people to, you know, contacting your local like Mexican embassy, sharing like the graphics. I put some graphics on Instagram yesterday, like sharing them with your family, communities, like writing him a letter, like making drawings, doing like banner drops. Like there's all these things, like people just want to have like visibility for his case, you know, and for him. And yeah, I just wanted to share that today. Okay, so yeah, have a listen to this Canteen's Remedies section. I think in America, or like so-called US, it's called the commissary. So yeah, maybe that is like more relatable. Yeah, for people on the outside, just want you to listen to this stuff and think, hey, like what could I use next time I'm getting sick? Okay, and I will be back soon. Thanks. right, so let's get started with the medicinal uses of some common spices and condiments. And yeah, I'm just gonna read out the chapter. The majority of this information has come from the fantastic book Kitchen Medicine by Julie Bruton Seal and Matthew Seal, as well as the Herbal Kitchen by Cami McBride. And like the medicinal plants listed in this book, I have not tried all of the below. However, these are all very trusted herbalists with good reputations, so I hope this information is useful. Okay, chili powder, cayenne pepper. Chili is good for people with poor circulation. It can help move blood to the extremities, so making it useful for people with Raynaud's, atherosclerosis. Chili is also full of vitamin C. It's known to kill some stomach nematodes, (worms). Chili can help people coming down with a cold, flu, or the chills in general. It's also useful for coughs. And just a side note, they're like cold, damp coughs, I would say, rather than dry coughs. You can add a teaspoon to warm water and drink, or add the powder to your food. If you have no access to cayenne pepper, hot chili sauce can play a similar role in terms of warming you up and getting the blood moving. If you cut yourself superficially, after you have rinsed the cut in clean water, you can then cover it with cayenne pepper. It stings a little, but then the bleeding stops and you have effectively disinfected the wound. Always be careful not to touch your eyes after handling cayenne pepper. You can also get the benefits of cayenne through hot pepper sauce. However, it is really not for everyone. If you already have quite a warm or hot constitution, it could heat your body up too much or give you heartburn or digestive troubles. Listen to your body. All right, cinnamon powder. Cinnamon increases warmth and circulation in the body, which can often relieve pain in arthritic joints and the lower back. Cinnamon tea can help with menstrual cramps and uterine spasms. It is an age-old remedy to use if you're coming down with a cough, sore throat, or cold. It will help move congestion in your chest. It can also be used as an aid to digestion, helping with nausea, flatulence, and recovery from diarrhea. Cinnamon also can be mixed with water to make a mouthwash for inflamed gums. There are claims that cinnamon contains properties that are beneficial for blood sugar regulation and treatment of type 2 diabetes. Several small studies have linked cinnamon to better blood sugar levels and suggest it may curb blood sugar by lowering insulin resistance. It's also an amazing herb that we use in our cough syrup for Calais. Coriander powder. Coriander is antispasmodic. It can help with cramp and spasms in the gut and can also relieve tension headaches. You can add coriander powder to cornmeal or flour with some water and thicken it into a paste that can be applied to rheumatic joints to help ease the pain. Warning, some people react to the oils, so stop if you develop a rash or red blotches. It can also help with anxiety and nervous tension. Overall, coriander is cooling and good in conditions where there is inflammation with heat. Cumin powder. Cumin is a carminative, helping to support digestion by relieving bloating, gas, and griping pains. It can also help move dampness in the chest, making it useful for chest infections and coughs. Cumin is an anthelmintic. I can never say that word, which means it can help expel parasitic worms. It can also help with nausea, and for people who are breastfeeding, it encourages lactation. Garlic powder. You can definitely get this in lots of prisons. Garlic contains very powerful antimicrobial compounds, meaning it can help fight off bacteria, parasites, and viruses. If you're getting sick, eat garlic. Not everyone can handle eating fresh or raw garlic, so sprinkle on your food if it makes it easier to take when you're feeling unwell. If you really don't like the taste, it is possible to get the benefits by rubbing a halved clove on the bottom of your feet where it will enter your bloodstream. Herbalist Julie and Matthew Seal write that garlic was used in both the First and Second World Wars to treat battle wounds, preventing sepsis and gangrene. Garlic can also be used for toothache, but be careful because garlic is very hot and can actually burn the skin. It's always best mixed in something like oil. Garlic cloves can also help with bloating, stomach cramps, and constipation. In addition, garlic is also a well-known support for the cardiovascular system and can help lower cholesterol. Herbalist Cami McBride says, garlic has been clinically studied as a heart medicine for more than 30 years and its usefulness in supporting people with hypertension, high blood pressure, and diabetes is well documented. Garlic prevents blood clots and protects arteries from age-related stiffening. It lowers high blood pressure and reduces the risk of stroke. A garlic poultice can also be made to hold against the ear during ear infections or against the chest during a chest infection. You can also place it on external wounds. To make a garlic poultice, crush up fresh garlic or use powdered garlic from the canteen. If it's fresh, then crush it up until there are juices. Place it on a cloth and then fold it over to cover it. Then place the poultice in some warm water for a few seconds. Squeeze out the water and then press the poultice on the affected area. Take it off immediately if it irritates the skin in any way. Hold it there for a few minutes and then rewarm it to keep applying it. And, just another side note, garlic isn't for everyone. Constitutionally, it can be way too warming and stimulating for some people. So, just listen to your body. Don't use it if it doesn't make you feel good. Garam masala. Garam masala is a mixture of different spices commonly used in Indian and South Asian cooking. The word garam means hot and masala means spice blend. I was blown away to see it on the prison canteen list, and I imagine it's supplied for people who are able to cook on their wings or units. This amazing mix of spices can support immunity, helping with digestive processes, alleviate pain, and lower blood sugar levels. The ingredients vary region to region, but the common base mixture often includes black pepper, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, coriander, cumin, and nutmeg, some of which are explored individually in this section. The blend will obviously taste the nicest when added to curries or to flavour rice dishes. However, if you were coming down with a cold, you could also add a teaspoon of the spice mix to warm water and drink. Ginger root is absolutely incredible. In prison, it's likely that you can only access the powder, but it is still worth using. Herbalist Cammy McBride says, ginger helps with colds, flu and coughs. It relieves nausea, motion sickness, seasickness and sore throats. Ginger increases circulation, gets rid of mucus congestion, settles an upset stomach, dispels gas, relieves aches and pains, reduces inflammation and menstrual cramps, supports the pancreas and stimulates digestion. You can sprinkle the powder on food such as your porridge. You can also just add a teaspoon to some hot water and drink. If you want to seriously sweat out a cold or a fever, you can add 4 tablespoons of ginger powder into a sock or tied up in a cloth and add it into your bath. Run it under the hot water tap to help you extract it. The bath will massively heat you up. Brackets, you can even drink tea in the bath at the same time. You can also make a ginger poultice for boils by mixing the ginger powder with some flour or cornmeal and some water to make a thick paste. Apply the paste to a boil and cover with some cloth to keep in place. Hot curry powder. Supermarket bought curry powder similar to that the prison service supplies commonly contains coriander, cayenne pepper, cumin, salt, yellow mustard seed, allspice, ginger, black pepper, garlic powder, paprika, turmeric, bay leaves, ground cinnamon and cloves. You can read about the spices individually in this section. It can be used in similar ways to garam masala. If you're unable to add it into meals, a teaspoon in warm water will have a strong effect in warming you up and fighting an infection. Mixed seasoning. A typical mixed seasoning can contain basil, marjoram, oregano, rosemary, sage and thyme. All of these herbs could have long profiles about them and their amazing properties. Adding them to meals will improve their nutritional quality. Many have antimicrobial properties, which are why they were commonly added to foods, beyond giving meals more flavour. I wasn't able to access mixed herbs as a seasoning in prison, but if I could, I would have definitely added them to meals and consumed them when I was getting sick by adding a few teaspoons to hot water and drinking the tea. Mustard. Herbalist Cammy McBride writes, one of the strongest rubefacients in the world, mustard is a powerfully warming, penetrating and moving herb. A strong circulatory stimulant, mustard brings blood to the surface of the skin, which enhances nutrient delivery to and waste removal from the body. If you are someone who moves around with chronically cold hands and feet, think about using a little mustard in your food as it increases circulation throughout the body. Mustard used regularly can help reduce arthritic pain. For such a tiny seed, it is surprisingly vigorous in its ability to relieve pain, congestion and stagnation. Make sure to eat more mustard or have it in some water if you have a damp, cold cough you can't get rid of. You can also add mustard to a foot bath. Another traditional use was chest poultices. Make sure mustard never touches the skin directly. You can wrap it up in a cloth and apply to your chest to help with coughs and conditions like bronchitis. Oats. I know they are not a spice or a condiment, but I could not publish this book without highlighting the amazing and diverse uses of oats. Oats are truly restorative to the nervous system. They are rich in fiber and high quality protein, as well as many vitamins and minerals. On the outside, oat straw, brackets milky oats, is what is mostly used medicinally to help people recover from burnout, trauma and chronic stress. In such a high-stress environment like prison, oats are definitely something you want to be eating. You can also apply oatmeal to your skin. It can absorb and remove oil and bacteria and exfoliate dead skin cells. Apply on as a paste with some water and leave on for 10 to 15 minutes before washing it off. You can also wrap it in some material and add it to a bath to help soothe skin inflammation or even just to help wind down and recover from stress. Oats are helpful topically for dry, itchy eczema. Paprika powder. Paprika is one of the most popular spices. It combines chili peppers, bell peppers, and other dried peppers. It increases heat in the body and helps digestion and metabolism. The paprika powder can be sprinkled on wounds in the same way detailed in the paragraph about cayenne pepper. It is very antibacterial, and if you have a tooth or gum infection, you can swirl your mouth with paprika mixed with water. It can help ease arthritis and joint pain. Ointments and creams are often made for these conditions. Black pepper. I remember a lovely woman I was in prison with called Helen who used to drink pepper tea and swear by it. It always reminds me of her now. The good thing about black pepper is that it's generally available on the wing. Black pepper helps digestion by stimulating the digestive juices, which makes it easier to eat. You can add it to warm water to help heat you up to fight colds and infections. It is especially good for clearing damp, mucousy coughs. Salt. Herbalist Julie and Matthew Seal say that natural sea salt comprises 95% sodium chloride and 4% potassium chloride. It also contains more than 50 other minerals and trace elements. Interestingly, it has roughly the same balance of minerals as found in the human blood. Unfortunately, a lot of highly processed prison food is completely loaded with salt and can have the opposite health effect, contributing to high blood pressure. You can dissolve salt in water and use it to wash cuts, abrasions, and minor wounds. A salt solution can also be used as an eye wash, mouthwash, and gargle. For a gargle or wash, use 2 teaspoons of salt, whereas for an eye bath, only use half a teaspoon. Salt is a good gargle for sore throats and tonsillitis. Every hour, add a teaspoon to hot water, gargle, and spit it out. And I just want to say, salt water is one of the things we really give out in Calais for people with sinusitis and sore throats and things, as well as a good mouthwash. I think it's really, really underestimated medicinally and is, a huge resource. Okay, tandoori masala. Tandoori masala is a spice blend that combines cumin, coriander, cloves, cinnamon, ginger, garlic, chili, turmeric, mace, and salt. It generally contains more chili and therefore more heat than garam masala. However, you can use it in similar ways medicinally if it is all you have access to. Thyme. Thyme is such an amazing medicinal herb. If you're able to access thyme from the canteen, then it will help you out a lot with all kinds of complaints. The tea is an effective remedy for sore throats due to its powerful antibacterial nature. Its antispasmodic action can help with hacking coughs and acute bronchitis, as well as digestive complaints like cramps or bloating. In Germany, herbal medicine is highly researched and regulated. They have approved thyme oil in the treatment of bronchitis, whooping cough, and upper respiratory inflammation. Thyme can also help wounds and is antiseptic. Research has also shown a positive effect on mood. One of the compounds increases levels of dopamine and serotonin. Adding dried herbs to prison food will definitely help with digestion, and if you come down with any kind of sore throat or cough, make sure to drink thyme tea. Just a side note on that, I think thyme can also be quite drying. So generally I would drink it if I have a very damp cough. Okay, turmeric powder. Turmeric has been used in traditional Chinese and Indian medicine for thousands of years. It has some well-researched anti-inflammatory and antioxidant compounds, making it useful for all kinds of diseases and conditions. It can really help people with pain and swelling from arthritis. A common way turmeric is taken is by adding it to milk, often with other spices at the same time, such as cinnamon and cumin. You can also add turmeric to yogurt as a DIY face mask. Turmeric can help with swellings and skin inflammation by applying it to the area as a poultice. Combine turmeric and some black pepper with some kind of oil or flour or water, cover with a cloth and make a makeshift bandage. You can leave this on for as long as a couple of hours. It will have a yellow stain that is temporary, so don't use it right before a visit. Of course, we can't forget that this spice is amazing in cooking, added not just to rice, to curries or rice, but also to soups and stews or whatever you can get your hands on in prison. Vinegar. Vinegar can be sprayed in the shoes if you're suffering from a fungal foot infection, as well as be added to the bath to help with fungal skin diseases or vaginitis. It can also be put on wasp stings and sunburn via a compress. You can also add a bit of vinegar to warm water for a hair rinse that helps with dandruff too. All right. I hope you've enjoyed that little section on spices and condiments. I think it's just worth emphasizing that it's all about being creative and what you can get your hands on. And, if you're in a bloody airport lounge somewhere and you feel like you're getting cold or whatever, then, obviously wear a mask, but, it might be that black pepper is the only thing you can get, and just bash a few little of those little packets in a cup of hot water and, see if it makes a difference, or go and gargle with some salt water. I think the thing about herbalism is it's really important to me that it's accessible. And I think for people in prison, the access is so limited to what people can get to support themselves, to have any kind of self-care or care for each other. So yeah, it's all about just kind of being really creative, and thankfully prisoners are really good at that. So The next slot of these is going to be looking at the medicinal properties of different kinds of teas and coffees, as well as fruits and vegetables. So check that out. Okay, thanks. Thanks so much for listening to the Frontline Herbalism podcast. You can find the transcript, the links, all the resources from the show at solidarityApothecary.org/podcast.